program dedicated to highlighting the work of entrepreneurs, business owners, and businesses that serve the residents of the East Orange community. I am your host, Steve Cooper, and today's program is sponsored by Thrive Leadership Institute in collaboration with the East Orange Business Association. The show airs every Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Today, we're honored. We're going to have like a little turn of events this time, and I'm usually the person being interviewed, but as in last week, but this week we're honored. So we're going to have the person that's usually the host. She's going to be speaking tonight, and we're going to interview her. So we're going to turn the tables on this young lady. Let me give you an introduction of her. Okay, let me do the guest introduction. All right, I want to make sure I get it right. Tonight we're blessed to have Anna D. Banks. Anna is the founder and CEO of Thrive Leadership Institute, a coaching, training, and development corporation in New Jersey. Anna's passion is helping people make progress in their lives to attain greater fulfillment. As a trainer and a coach, she aids her clients in improving their relationships, businesses, careers, and day-to-day lives. Her clients accomplish their goals through one-on-one training and group coaching, workshops, soft skills training, and a variety of assessments. As an executive director of the John Maxwell team, Anna is certified to facilitate, speak, train, and individuals and groups using the portfolio of John Maxwell leadership resources to help improve teams, communications, productivity, performance, and profitability. Anna's and clients include nonprofit organizations, Fortune 500 corporations, youth serving organizations, and individuals in career transition. She has worked with clients in many different states in the United States, Canada, Paraguay, and Costa Rica. Let's call her global or international Anna. She loves to travel globally, and now after COVID has gained momentum, Anna's looking forward to training and assignment to John Maxwell Foundation in the fall of 2021. Let's give a round of applause for our special guest this evening, Anna D. Banks.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, Anna. How are you today?
I have to tell you, thank you for the introduction. And as I mentioned to you before the show, this feels so weird for me.
That's right. That's right. That's what sometimes you got to get uncomfortable. You told me that when you were coaching me a long time ago. Sometimes we have to get uncomfortable with ourselves.
Yes.
You know, Anna, this is an honor for me as well. You know, anytime I get a chance to talk to somebody who's committed to uplifting others, it's always I consider myself humbled and honored, and it's a blessing for me, not only just as being in the audience with you, but also being able to interview, because there's going to be some takeaways for myself as well that you're going to share with us this evening, I'm sure. So let's get into some of the questions that we may have that's lingering on my mind in particular. So Anna, just describe to me, what is coaching? How would you describe coaching? Most people know about from sports events and things like that, but can you describe to us, what is coaching? What does coaching mean to you?
Well, coaching can mean a lot of things to different people. But in the profession that I'm in as an executive coach, I'm going to use the International Coaching Federation's definition of coaching. And that definition defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process. And I just want to emphasize process, because it's not a one and done. It's usually a process. It is a process. And that process inspires clients to maximize their personal and professional potential. So it's all about helping individuals, even companies, the individuals within companies, to elevate their professional as well as personal potential. It's all about the potential.
Great answer. And I've noticed in a lot of the documents that I've read about you, you use a lot of stuff from John Maxwell. Can you just give us a brief overview of John Maxwell and how did you have this epiphany to work with him individually and use his resources to promote your Leadership Institute?
Well, I have to tell you, first of all, I was introduced to John at the church that I was attending. From East Orange, I attended the Elmwood Presbyterian Church. And at that time, when I came into a leadership position as an ordained deacon, our pastor at that time used a lot of John's materials in order to help us to become better leaders. So my first introduction to John was through his classic book, and probably one of the books that he's most known for, which is the 21 Irrefutable Laws.
Great book.
Leadership. And I tell you, just that very first law locked me into John, and that's the law of the lid. And I was just overwhelmed by that, and just going through that training. So as a result, several years later, a client, actually a Toastmaster friend of mine, told me that John was actually starting a coaching and training and speaking company. Well, I was very busy at that time. I was on the road. And so I passed up the opportunity. But as fate would have it, several years later, I was, in prayer, and I was asking God for, what's my next step? And I happened to be on Facebook, and I heard someone, but I read where someone said, how much money is this thing? And blah, blah, blah. They were having this conversation. And the person responded by saying, it may be expensive to you, but I would do this again and again because of the type of people that are in this organization, and being able to learn from people like John. And right then there was that little, they say that still small voice that said, this is your next step. And
Great.
So right away I joined. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So I guess a lot of people here are going to figure they see John Maxwell. He's a great leader. He has numerous books. I think right in my closet now, I think I've right in my bookshelf rather, I have about at least 10 of his books. He's an exceptional leader as far as leadership teacher. But I guess people want to understand the leadership between the principles that John uses in their business. If they have a business, they see him as a Christian preacher. Well, he was formerly a preacher, then he jumped over into leadership, which is admirable on his part because he saw a greater audience and a greater need based on his conversations that I'm familiar with. So how would you say the interface is between being a Christian preacher or yourself as a Christian also, and how does this apply to a person running a business, say on Central Avenue or Main Street?
Well, yeah, I'm glad that you asked that, because first of all, leadership is not for any particular religion. In fact, in the John Maxwell team, we have people from every faith. There are 160 countries represented. And so that's not the key. The key is that leadership, and John phrases it by saying, leadership is influence. It's influence, nothing more and nothing less.
Great.
And so if you are a business owner, do you need leadership? Do you need influence? Do you need to know how to better influence others, whether it be your customers, whether it be your vendors, whether it be your workers, if you have them? But the thing is, it's always about people. And so how well you influence is based on your communication, it's based on so many other things. And those are key for entrepreneurs, um, people that are running their businesses today.
Great.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. So just describe to me how has his training changed your life in particular? Can you give you like your own testimony? Whereas how his leadership and applying his principles have benefited you and your business as far as the Thrive Leadership Institute.
Well, first of all, it provided the foundation for me launching Thrive, because I also believe that people do need leadership training, along, which is one of the soft skills that you mentioned that we teach and train on. And so what happens is, what it did for me is it first of all made me aware. It made me aware of not only my leadership skills, the skills that I already had, but it also made me aware of where I could improve. Because one of the great things about John's work and just about leadership training is that it grows you as an individual from the inside out. It's not just about your knowledge, skills, and abilities. It's also about that your values. It also it's about how you care for people, and that has affected just every area of my life, both in business as well as personally. And then on top of that, I get to serve. I get to serve people as I'm working with them. I also, through John's foundation, I also get to serve, train people outside of the country. So you mentioned my being able to be a trainer and a coach in Paraguay and also in Costa Rica. Well, that was through the John Maxwell Foundation, where I got to go to those countries and to pour into every level of leadership there. But more importantly, it grew me again. It made me a lot more grateful for being in the United States and having the various the contracts that I have, all of those kinds of things that really made me a lot more grateful. And as a result of that, willing to serve even more.
Great.
Yeah.
And I'm down here, I'm writing notes for myself over here. I'm just taking my pen. I had to pick up my pen because you were just dropping so much knowledge. I had to come in and pick up my pen. I already talked about, level of awareness, influence, gratitude, and, servant mindset, which is the prerequisite for, I think, for any entrepreneur. Just getting back to those, the skills that are required for an entrepreneur. What would you describe as your top 3 skills, be it soft or hard, that a successful entrepreneur would need, even if there's a mom and pop shop or one person service business or a corporation? What are those 3 skills that you think are the priority? And they don't have to be in order of importance.
Well, in fact, not only am I going to give you 3, I'm actually going to give you 5.
Okay.
I want to give you some extra.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. So the first thing that I would say that is important for a successful entrepreneur is the ability to effectively communicate. If you cannot communicate with your customers, with your vendors, with people with your prospects, then chances are your business is not going to grow and you won't be as successful as you would like to be. The second thing is you need to know how to sell. You have to know how to sell.
Wait, hold on. Wait, can you say that again, please, Anna? I'm a salesperson, so I know.
I forget exactly who it was that says, nothing happens until somebody sells something.
That's right. That's for sure.
Okay. And so you need to know how to sell. Selling is an honorable profession. You know, it's not sleazy. It's not any of that kind of stuff. You know, we can call that what that is. But selling is honorable. Why? Because people want something, they need something. Sometimes they're not even aware of it, but they want and need something. How else are they going to get it if you are not available to sell it to them?
That's for sure.
And so selling is the second one. The third piece is focus. You have to be focused. You have to know what it is that you want. You have to have that goal, and you have to that determination and drive in order to make that happen. In fact, can I just give you a quick little story?
Please do.
One of the guests that we had on Spotlight on East Orange Business earlier in the season, Anthony Green. And he has the lemonade stand.
Yeah, the lemonade guy.
Yeah, the lemonade guy, right?
Great
Perfect,
lemonade, great guy. Great
perfect
guy.
lemonade, right? And here recently, this young man, I found out that his refrigerator in his store broke. Okay, so it's like, you know, that can be a little bit disastrous if you're trying to run a lemonade business, especially in the summer, right?
Right.
But that did not stop him. Not at all. He still made his lemonade and he put it in his truck. And even though he couldn't just go and get it right from the refrigerator, he put his lemonade in the car. And he started, you know, everybody that he knew that could actually, you know, buy it, he made himself available.
Yes.
And so he knew that I really was waiting for this mango lemonade, right? So he texted me and he said, "Ann, I have your lemonade." So I said, "Okay, I'll be by." But I didn't realize that he still did not have his refrigerator fixed. Do you know that young man came and brought me my lemonade?
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So he was very focused. He was focused on still keeping his business going despite the problems that he has. Now he is in the process of, you know, generating additional income and whatever else he needs in order to have that happen. But he is focused. He is uber focused on making sure that his business survives.
Dr. Covey calls that beginning with the end in mind. You focused on the results, the end result.
That's it.
I love it.
So the third is learn.
Yeah.
You really need to be a lifelong learner. If you are in business, you're in some type of industry. If you are not going and taking courses to improve yourself, helping your clients, your workers to improve their skill set, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Yes. Now let me say, I know that you're busy. I know you're busy. You have everything to do, and sometimes you have it all to do. But if you are not taking the time to upskill yourself, to keep yourself relevant, your business will not survive.
Right.
And then the fifth thing is you need to know how to strategize. And strategy is very important. You need to sit down, and as one of my favorite books often says, and that's The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. He said you need to make time to work on your business as well as in your business.
Right.
When you're doing the day-to-day stuff, that's working in your business, but you need to take time to work on your business. And that's where the strategies come into place, and then implementing those strategies.
Great. Those are 5 great points. I'm saying we asked for 3 and she gave us 5. I think my favorite is about the learning and how to be a student of your profession. Because a lot of times people think they go into business, they think they've made it because they have this business, but they still have to learn. You know, I know in particular right now, I just signed up today for a coaching class with people that are making, that are in my business. And I signed up for a coaching class because these guys are really like knocking out the park. So I want to know what the best and the brightest are doing, so I can expedite and level and just level up to what the level that they're performing at this particular point in my life. So that's why I think coaching is, I'm a harp on this coaching thing because I've seen the benefits that it's done to my life. Because I think, like you said, everybody needs a coach,
Mhm.
and like,
Especially entrepreneurs.
yes, because a lot of times people are, and what we find, and I talk to my young men where I coach or I mentor them. I said there's a lot of times people that are out there that show books on people on how to start things, but there's nobody out there coaching us on show us how to finish effectively. So I applaud you in your effort in the Thrive Leadership Institute on allowing people to take advantage of what you know from a global perspective, and the highest and best use of their ability and their skill set will be to hire a coach. So if nothing else, the person holds you accountable,
Yes.
and they can give you a better insight to what you're doing that may lead you to increasing your sales, expanding your business, or as Michael Gerber said, to be able to sell your business to make a huge profit. So again, Anna, I want to thank you for that. Just changing up now, what you've mentioned a few books here. What books have inspired you as a leader and as an entrepreneur?
Oh boy. Well, actually, see, right behind, I have a screen up behind me. And one of the reasons why I had that screen is so it doesn't distract people, because behind that screen, I have 3 bookshelves. And so I'm an avid reader.
Right.
I'm an avid reader. Um, so one of the books is The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John
Yes.
Maxwell. Another one of my favorites from John is The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Then I would have to say The E-Myth, or The E-Myth Revisited,
Yes.
and that's by Michael Gerber. And then I have a brand new new friend and book, and I happen to have it on my desk, but it's by Valerie Burton. Let me see. I can put it
Okay.
up. It's by Valerie Burton,
Great.
and it's entitled "Brave Enough to Succeed: 40 Strategies for Getting Unstuck." Now, you would say, well, I thought you were a coach. You don't get, no. Let me tell you, we all have our own, not just idiosyncrasies, things that can stifle our own growth. That's where the awareness comes in. And I just love this book by Valerie, because she has, she meets me where I am on so many different levels. And so I love this. This is almost becoming my daily
ritual or reading.
Yeah, this was the word I'm looking for, right? My devotional.
Yes.
It's kind of like my devotional next to my Bible. And so it's just so powerful. She starts out with a declaration, and she gives you a short teaching, and then she ends each chapter with a prayer. And I'm just really, really excited about this book. And also because she has just become one of the new mentors in the John Maxwell team in the coaching lane.
Oh, great. Great.
So I get a chance to interact with her even more, not just in books.
One of the things that you looked at the book, and one of the things that you talked about was being brave. So I want you to just for me, just identify the role of what you would see for a person being an entrepreneur, and the role that passion and courage may have in their journey as becoming a successful entrepreneur. Like, what role does that play as if?
It's a major role. It's probably one of the ultimate roles, because it is, and I'll just kind of give you like a couple of things. First of all, as an entrepreneur, it's often isolating, and you often can feel alone.
Mhm.
So if you don't have the passion and the drive, if you don't have that, sometimes nobody else is around. And even if you have a coach, you're only coaching with that individual maybe once a week, once a month, or whatever your schedule is. What happens the rest of the time? If that is not already inside of you, that you know that you know that you know that you have to do this, then you'll quit. That's
Right.
just as simple as that. So you
Mhm.
have to have that passion and you have to have that drive, because many times our loved ones, our friends, they may not have it, and they may see that you're working like a lot of hours and they want to go out, they want to do this, but you have your business to run. And so they may not understand. And if you don't have that internal passion and drive, it can be a discouragement having
Right.
other people around you. Yes.
Okay. So, Hannah, we're slightly past the first half of the year, and we were interrupted substantially. A lot of business was substantially interrupted by this thing called COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So COVID-19 comes, and then what business have to do is they have to kind of like what I call a reset, meaning that the way they were doing business before, so now everything is on Zoom, everything's automated, everybody's, they got you picking up orders. And so
Mm-hmm.
now we have a new business model that we need to follow. How can you help entrepreneurs change the trajectory of their business from where they had it pre-COVID till now being in post-COVID for the balance of 2021?
Well, it goes right back to those successful traits, skills that you asked me about just a few minutes ago. So, how I help them is, first of all, I help them to better communicate what it is that they want their business to look like.
Mhm.
So, this is where it is now. What do you really want it to look like? How do you and how do you communicate that shift, that pivot to your clients? How are you going to now sell? Are you going to distribute your product or your service? We need to look at the various distribution channels that you have available. We may have to look at some new ones that you haven't even thought about before, and we need to put those things in a plan. The next piece is we need to focus. Okay, so once we put this plan together, you need to have some accountability. I am a great accountability partner.
Right.
Sometimes, you may call me the what they call it, the brass hand in the velvet glove.
We call it tough love. We call it tough love, Anna. Tough love.
And sometimes it happens like that. Why? Because I'm on your team and I want you to succeed. And sometimes when your enthusiasm for your business wanes, my job would be to remind you of what it is that you said you wanted and to keep you on track in order to have it happen. And then learn. I have a number of training programs that I can help you with, that I can also help your clients with. But we'll also look at your industry. What does your industry have to offer? And start to put that also in the plan. And then the strategy is coming out of those, out of our coaching sessions, so that you know what you need to do, because you're the one who's designing it. I'm not. Coaching is about also reminding you that the answers that you need are really already inside. My job, though, is to help you to get in touch with those answers, because you may not even be aware of them. And to put that strategy together, and then to let's make it happen.
Awesome. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, sometimes we just need someone to talk to, someone to consult with, someone to be our advisor. What is your role? What do you think of the role of an entrepreneur? Should they or should they not have people like coaches, advisories, people that serve them advisors? I'm big on having your own your personal board of directors, whereas they can come in and kind of like you could explain to them a situation that you're encountering, and then they could kind of just be like the devil's advocate, just kind of coach you through or just
The
help you
devil
out.
doesn't need an advocate.
Yeah, we all need an advocate. We need a guide.
So
Some
we
people
need
say
an
they call it
advocate.
coach, a guide, advisor. Just someone to, what do you feel about that? Do you think they should be like you should just have a coach, or should they have a group of individuals who are already successful in their own right just to run ideas off of? Because you know, one is too small of a number to achieve anything. So I can't think of anything. Like I just had one of the guys I was listening to on YouTube, and he said one is just too small of a number, and he doesn't think that anything great can be successful with just one. So he's telling people to encourage people to hire teams and create businesses that grow and become larger than just the solopreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your feelings on that? I'm just want to know your expert advice.
Well, I agree with that person. And as far as a board of directors or a board of advisors, those things are great. I tend to call them mentors.
Yes.
And so that's someone that's already ahead of where you currently are in your business. And you can ask them. It's amazing. A lot of people are willing to mentor others.
Yes.
Mentorship is not just for children. It is also for entrepreneurs. If you know of someone, and you already gave a perfect example, Steve, when you talked about you just signed up for some additional coaching. Why did you do that? Because that person or those people that are going to be in your group coaching, they are ahead of you. They are already where you want to be. And so therefore, being surrounded by people who are already more successful than you actually helps you. It opens up your vision. It allows you to think further than you can on your own. So having a coach, if that's all that you can do, then great. But in the meantime, that's where your industry comes in. Find out who is the most successful, or who is more successful than you are, and ask them if you can meet with them. Now, let me just say this. Don't go wasting their time.
Right. I agree.
So you go with your questions prepared. You ask them specific things. And then once they give you their take on it, or they give you their answer or what their suggestion is, then go and do it.
Great. I agree with you 100%.
Go and do it before you come back and ask them another question. Don't keep coming and asking people questions, because now you're wasting valuable time. And time is one of those things we never get back.
Yes, I agree. I think Dr. Covey, just getting back to him, we call that sharpening the saw. Mm-hmm. We just come back and you're just trying to just learn and just relearn. That's the thing. A lot of times, even as entrepreneurs, I find myself now, I'm in a position now where I've learned some things. Now I have to unlearn them, and then I have to relearn better habits and better things. So that's why I hang around with great people like Anna D. Banks. And, anytime I can be in her proximity, she's coaching us. She's going to make this East Orange Business Association a very viable association for all the people, the citizens of East Orange and the business community. So, Anna, I just want to close. I said we've been on this for over a half hour. I just want to ask you, do you have any closing remarks that you want to share? Something that I didn't ask you. I didn't get into your personal life per se, because I didn't want to. What you're offering businesses as a coach is so viable. And then I think once they hear your answers and the way you've responded, that they'll know that you're very professional. You take seriously what you're doing, and you're a servant of your occupation. So you didn't get this way just overnight. You like you said, you studied, you learned, you have this focus that you talked about. You're able to communicate effectively because you've also taken classes as being a Toastmaster. So all those things set the foundation of what we see here today. So, and I want to thank you for what you've shared so far, but I just wanted to see if you had anything that I've missed and can offer some potentially some closing remarks or something that will benefit our audience.
Well, thank you, Steve, and thanks again for hosting today. This has been, like I said, it's quite an experience for me because I don't usually sit on this side of the interview.
Exactly.
But the thing that I would say is to really investigate coaching for yourself and for your business. A coach can not only ask you powerful questions that you may not have been able to ask yourself, but what that coach can also do, and what I've done for many of my clients is to help them to sort through things so that they can look at what's important and what's not important, or they can look at what's urgent and what's important. Because one of the things that happens in business, as I just mentioned with Anthony a little bit earlier, is stuff happens. Stuff happens in your business. And so you need to make sure, especially after COVID, what are some of the things that are going to be essential to you moving ahead? What are the things that you need to do? How are you going to do it? And who can you get to help you? And I think that coaches as well as mentors can definitely do that. Don't try to be a lone ranger, because, even in my neck of the woods, the Lone Ranger had Tonto.
Yeah. That's for sure.
So really look for the additional support. There's so much that's available for East Orange businesses, but they're in little pockets of information that may not be actively publicized. So think about, if your business is on Central Avenue, or if your business is on Main Street, or have you also gotten the HubZone certification? Do you already have that? If you are a minority or woman-owned business, what steps are you taking in order to make sure that you have those types of certification? There are so many things that are available. And so I would say, take the time to work on your business, not just in your business.
A great closing. I think one of the things, my takeaway is that with you is just your coach is there to make you feel very, very uncomfortable, because your growth is on the other side of you being uncomfortable. If you're comfortable right now and you're just going to work, or you're just going to your business and it's just business as usual, if you're not stretching and someone's prodding you along in order for you to be better, because ultimately everybody builds, your legacy is tied to have the growth of this business, and you could transfer it to your children, your grandchildren. And that's what other races and other people have done, for generations.
Yes.
And they transfer the business, and not only the business, they transfer the wealth, because we're in a multiplier effect. So Anna, this has been an excellent way to spend my Tuesday evening. I'm telling you, I would rather, sometimes I just sit home and read books or just do some other things but I've had a pleasure of sitting here and what I call interviewing, but I'm educating myself, even for my business. So we're going to play this little game that you and I talked about before. It's called Would You Rather? So these are some of the questions I came up with. You played it with me last week and you slapped me across the head with it. So subsequently now I'm going to ask you some of the same questions.
Returned.
All right. Okay. All right. My first question is, Would you rather work a job you have now for a year at double your current rate of pay, or have 1 year off with what you are making now?
I think I'd rather have the year off.
And why?
Because during that year I can double my rate of pay.
Okay, so you're gonna sharpen the sword as well. Right? You're gonna educate yourself. You know, it ain't gonna be like just to go on vacation and sit around the beach, you know.
No.
Right.
Even if I'm doing some of that, I'm networking and generating some business and prospects.
Right. Great. All right. Second question. Would you rather have universal respect or unlimited power?
Universal respect.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Power without respect ain't gonna get you nowhere. There's too many politicians we know who have power, but we don't respect them at all. Would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life?
A pause or a rewind? I probably want a pause. A pause.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to necessarily have to go back, but I'd love to have a moment to really kind of think and to reflect, and and then I can make decisions on that and move forward.
Okay. Great. Would you rather get trapped in the middle of a food fight or a water balloon fight? This is a fun question.
Probably water balloon.
Yeah, that's probably better. I've been caught in between both. In high school, there was a food fight and a water balloon fight when I was older. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, the food fights are crazy.
I don't want food to be messed up. You know.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's growing up in East Orange. We all know about the food fights in the cafeteria. Would you rather stay the age? Another question is: would you rather stay the age that you are physically forever, or stay where you are, or stay the way you are now financially forever?
I think the age. Yeah.
Because you know black don't crack, right?
Well, that might be part of it.
Right. Right.
But I could again, there would be a lot of other things that I could do.
Okay.
Yeah. There would be a lot more value I could be able to bring to the community, along with wisdom, because it didn't say that I couldn't bring the wisdom along.
Right. Exactly. We all need wisdom. Now, here's a good one for you. Would you rather read a book or watch a movie?
Oh, read a book.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Read a book. I told you about my screen.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather read a book.
Yeah, the books are there. They're gonna jump over that screen eventually. I think they're gonna come out.
Not only that, but you see, the thing is, with the book, I can, just like with this E-Myth, right? I can't tell you how old this copy is.
Yeah.
Because this is not the one. This is not the one that they sell in the stores right now.
Yeah.
And so this was on my shelf when it came time for me to go through it again.
Yes.
Right. I could just pull it off the shelf.
Right.
Movies get discontinued. I may not want to see it anymore. Then I gotta. No. This is
that was. I read the first book. I read the first book. I haven't picked up revisited, but the first book was awesome.
This one is too. He just updated it a little bit. That's all.
Okay. All right. Another question? Would you rather win the lottery but have to spend it all in one day, or triple your current salary forever?
Triple the current salary forever.
All right. I know you. I forgot to ask you about the role of money in business, but I'll ask you that in closing. Would you rather have $1 million now or 5,000 a week for the rest of your life?
$1 million now.
Okay.
Because I don't know how long I'm gonna live.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how long I'm gonna live. And so if I get the million now, that's part of that transference of wealth, right?
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
So, plus I also know the rule of 72. So even if I'm not here.
Oh, there you go again. There you go. Talking about investments. You in investment. You in my arena now. You're in my arena now. Come on, stop playing. All right. Would you rather travel the world for free for a year or have $50,000 to spend however you please?
Travel. All day, all day.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. For free?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You don't know how long my bucket list is for travel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're better off than me. You got that international business experience. That's
Well,
awesome.
if everything goes well, I'll be traveling to the Dominican Republic in November.
Oh, awesome.
On mission, yeah.
Nice. Is that part of the Maxwell team as well? Or
yes.
Awesome. Would you rather have a personal maid or a personal chef?
Maid,
right.
Maid, I can cook.
Yeah, I burn water. I would need the chef because I burn water. It's like, yeah.
Nah, I'd rather have a maid.
All right, and my final would you rather question would be, would you rather have unlimited battery life on all your devices or have free Wi-Fi wherever you go?
Free Wi-Fi.
That's right. Great.
Free Wi-Fi.
And I'm telling you, so if in closing, I think one of the questions I want to ask you, and this is on behalf of the East Orange community and East Orange business community in particular, what advice would you give somebody wanting to either start a bit or to grow their business? Like, what advice would you give them if they want to grow their business? What's the structural things, requirements that they would need if they want to grow their business?
Well, again, you need to assess your business. That's the first thing you need to do. You don't know how, you won't be able to determine or to put together a plan of where you want to go, especially in that arena, until you at least assess where you are. So that's the first thing. It's like get honest with where you are. And then from there, start to plan where you want to go. Get some trusted advisors. Make sure that you get a good, accountant, whether they're a CPA or not, because we still have some great public accountants around. Get yourself a good attorney, that can help you. Also, look at the resources that are available in East Orange. I always say government is there to be accountable to the people, not the other way around.
Right.
And so there are resources that are available not only here in East Orange, but also through Essex County and through the state of New Jersey. But you may have to keep asking some questions in order to get that, to get access to the information. So assess, that would be the first thing. And then plan, and then implement the plan. Don't just have the plan, but really implement the plan. And then make sure that as you're doing all of this, that you get sound advice. That is really, really critical. Don't ask just your mama or your friends. If they don't have a business, they may mean well, but they won't know exactly what it is that you're going through.
Great.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, and if I can just interpret what you said correctly, one of the precursors is first and foremost, you have that authentic conversation with yourself. And if you don't have that first and foremost, everything else that you set up the foundation won't be there, because you're under a template that is not in line to be successful in the future. So if the foundation is not set, so that's why you have to do that assessment and evaluation based on your business and where you stand today.
Yes. And that's not just from a business perspective, but also from your own personal perspective.
Yes, and that's the first foremost.
Look and see who you have that are your supporters in your business. I mean, especially like if you're married or you're otherwise engaged, for lack of a better term, if you have someone who is not supporting you, just know that that's going to be an uphill battle. You can still have it work. I mean, there have been countless people who have, but just know that it's probably going to be a little bit more challenging. And that's when you go right back to what you talked about earlier, Steve, which is that passion and that perseverance. So you have to be very, very clear about that and what it is that you want.
Okay. And what I know we kind of neglected this, but for entrepreneurs who struggle financially, what advice do you give them? That because one of the wait, I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Get a job.
Yeah.
Get a part-time job. You
Right.
may need to.
Right.
So you may need to get a job to support your business, especially if you have other people that are depending on you.
Yes.
And there's no shame in that.
Right. No ego.
It's
Yes.
temporary.
Right.
I mean, if you know anything about Dave Ramsey,
yes,
he went belly up a couple of times. But what he had his goals, and he would go and deliver pizza. He did whatever he needed to do in order to keep that vision alive and still keep his family in place. So don't be ashamed of that. I have to admit that was, one of the things that, really kind of kept me from growing as fast as I would have loved to, because I had ego, and I had, and I also, didn't want, to actually have to ask for help. And so getting the help that you need and going and getting even a part-time job in order to support what you need to do with your family while you are building that business, and you don't have time to be playing. You really have to decide that this is really what you want.
Awesome. Anna, we've been here for almost an hour. I don't want to retain you, too much longer. How can people contact you? By email or by telephone or by any other means?
Okay, well, first of all, you can always reach out to me by connecting to my website, and that's at ThriveLeadershipInstitute.com. That is my website, ThriveLeadershipInstitute.com. You can also reach out to me by email, and that is Anna at ThriveLeadershipInstitute.com. Those are the two best ways to catch up with me, because I always have, iPad, something with me in order to get that message.
Right. And Anna will get back to you quickly. I can tell you from my own personal experience. Expeditiously. Sooner. That's another thing, Anna. We didn't talk about the sense of urgency for entrepreneurship, as far as entrepreneurs getting back to people and promptly and things of that nature. But that's the second show. That's the second show. So at this point, I'm just going to have a word from our sponsor. I want to thank Thrive Leadership Institute for sponsoring today's exceptional presentation on entrepreneurship and business in East Orange. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Spotlight on East Orange Business. Spotlight on East Orange Business is a weekly business community affairs, and I am Steve Cooper from East Orange, your host. The program is sponsored by Thrive Leadership Institute in collaboration with East Orange Business Association and will air on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and now even on LinkedIn. If your business would like to be a guest on Spotlight on East Orange, please email us at hello@thriveleadershipinstitute.com. Now, I just hope our audience has gotten as much from this conversation as I have as an entrepreneur, as a business person, and as a resident of East Orange, as the content, if I can just, it was exceptional, to say the least. And if you didn't get anything or any takeaways from the conversation that we had here today, something is lacking with you as a business entrepreneur, because she dropped so many nuggets that even myself, who's been in business for 30 years, was taking my pen and writing notes. So once again, I want to thank Anna D. Banks of Thrive Institute for allowing us to interview her today. And without further ado, I'm going to close out the session. And I want to thank our audience for staying with us for a year. I mean, for an hour. But it was well worth it. I said a year because that's how long it's been. It feels like it's been. I've been on here for a year because I got a year's worth of education. That's what I meant. So I want to thank East Orange Business Association as well. Thanks again, and everyone have a blessed evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Steve. And we will see our audience. Hopefully, we'll see all of you back next week, where I will be interviewing our next East Orange entrepreneur. Good night now.
Good night.